Welcome to Zen Footsteps. My podcast is designed to invite you to explore new perspectives and challenge the way you see the world. Through engaging conversations with thought-provoking guests, we're going to delve into the idea that you can transform your thinking and inspire personal growth. From redefining success to uncovering unconventional paths to fulfillment, each episode is a step towards expanding your mind and embracing the journey of discovery. So join us as we walk alongside innovators, thinkers, and change makers who can help you see life in a whole new light. Hi guys, welcome to another amazing guest on Zen Footsteps. My guest is Pip, and I'm not going to tell you too much about him. Basically, he's a certified forest therapist, he's a herbalist, he's a fitness instructor, mental health and first aider, and a horticulturist. Pip, welcome to Zen Footsteps. Lovely to have you on, mate.
Yes, great to be here, my friend.
So I came across you on TikTok and I saw your content, and we had a little chat just now, and I did some time with the Rainiers, and
Okay.
being South African, I grew up in the bush, and
Wow.
that's part of my life. So
Yes.
so tell me your story. How did it go back to? I want to know all about your life. So go back to childhood. Start from there forward.
Well, I mean, my sort of connection with nature, I've always had this sort of deep feeling of a connection with nature from, I mean, one of my first childhood memories was being told that I could plant anything in my veg garden. And so I filled the whole thing with radishes, which it was a standing joke for years that we ate nothing but radishes for the whole season. And that sort of sparks my imagination with the plant side of it. And I've sort of been plant mad ever since. I've always loved trees. I've loved playing out and playing up trees and playing with the dirt and the leaves. And I've had a real connection. It's only the last few years that I've really understood why and understood why I felt that way about nature. Because I mean, at the end of the day, we are nature. We're not similar to nature. We are actually in nature, in my opinion. And so yeah, that's where my sort of love of nature, I think, started. And from there, it was in a nutshell. I left school. Well, my first job was on a market gardener growing veg. So I used to love growing sort of vegetables. And then from school, went to a wholesale nursery and was growing trees, propagating roses, fruit trees, that kind of thing. And it went from there. So the stories sort of dipped in and out of. So I've been like a personal trainer. I've also done a bit of catering as well. But most of my life, the last sort of 35 years of my life has been in horticulture. Went to horticulture college, got qualified there. And then it's only really recent. I mean, it was COVID. It was the lockdown, as it happened to many people there. I had a lot of extra time to do some reading, being a bit sort of more introspective about things. And the more I sort of read and delved into the benefits of nature, and also the benefits, it kind of went hand in hand with. I discovered Wim Hoff on YouTube, where I started doing the cold therapy and the breathing techniques, which then led me on to sort of spirituality side of it. So it all sort of tied in together. I felt it all tied in together, the nature, the breathing, the spirituality, and felt like a real connection with all of that. So and from there, I got qualified. I got certified with a herbalist, sort of medicinal herbs, and also like herbs and edibles that you can eat while foraging. I did a couple of courses on meditation as well, breathing techniques, that kind of thing. And I just felt it all sort of tied together. And so it was only been the last sort of year where I've been on my original Instagram account was more posting just pictures of nice sunsets. But I felt I had a real calling to sort of, speak my voice, find my voice, and really start helping people in a way that nature helped me. I mean, I realized that I'm not going to save the world or necessarily save people, but I like to look at it that I'm sort of giving people the sort of information that saved me, and hopefully one or two people can take what they need out of it, and hopefully it can benefit them as well. I've always loved the idea of teaching and giving something back. So this is a case of doing that, and it's like I say, it's saved me in so many ways. So
It's fun.
yes,
It's funny, isn't it? How we the adversity, we have things happen to us, and in life, there's
sure.
I've been through some real traumas in my life, and those things define us or push us towards sometimes what we're kind of running away from, and then
Absolutely.
and then we find ourselves, and it's like this key turns, and we go, "What the
Yeah.
bloody hell was I
I,
doing?"
I, I sort of, I'm like, I grew up, I'm like an old school punk rocker. So I sort of grew up with all the punk rock and anti-establishment. And one of the sort of horrible sort of sayings at the time was never trust a hippie and all this stuff of like, and we used to just think it was a joke, but I mean, now it's like I've completed 360. I think all the hippies were definitely onto something. And yeah, it's amazing. Going back to myself, I've had various sort of addictions, behavioral problems, eating disorders, that kind of stuff. And even going through that, I wouldn't have thought in a million years that I'd have turned to sort of hugging trees or eating plants out of a hedgerow to sort of like to help me along. But it's helped me in so many ways, like physically, mentally, spiritually. But yeah, I can't sort of emphasize enough how it's worked for me. I think everybody's on different parts of the journey, so I try not to sort of preach too much and say you have to do this and you have to do that because at the end of the day we're all at different points, and I understand that now. So hopefully we can sort of like pick people up along the way and respect the fact that they are at different points, just like I was a few years ago. But yeah, if you said this to me 10 years ago that I'd be doing this and speak and believing or know what I know now, it's crazy, really. It really is
Yeah.
crazy in a good way.
No, I'm with you on that as well. It's exactly the same. I used to work in an oil company back in the day, and everything in the 80s was, I was, I was the opposite to you. I was like a bit of a teddy boy. I'd get up to this
Oh,
place in
cool.
place up to Victoria, the station. There's that rock and roll shop there.
Wow.
There's all the drapes and everything else
Oh,
like that.
wow, man. Yeah.
Another mate of mine was he was nicking Vespers, and he was down on the coast in Brighton having a punch up with the rockers. So
Wow. Yeah. I've been there,
so
man.
it was, but
It's,
it is true. And I look at my children now, and I'm a dad, and all those kind of things. And I totally agree about the spiritual side. I think you can't be engaged with nature and not be spiritual, because there's a
no.
wonder in, you pick up a plant and you go, wow, it's incredible. How can you not?
It's the and it's also it's all I feel the connect literally like you hit the nail on there. Literally when I touch a plant or when I'm smelling a flower, it's literally I'm at a point now. I can tangibly feel the connection with it. It's crazy really. I think you can explain to people that, but what I try and get to people to do is like if you don't believe me, go and do it. And and sort of have a go for yourself, sort of thing. Because I think there is sort of people out there that like maybe don't believe it, or not everyone to their own. But yeah, if I think there's a saying, I don't know if it's a John Muir saying that you go out into a forest and you never come back feeling any worse at the very least. So it's like the whole connection thing blows my mind, and it never ceases to amaze me. It's like I could go out every day, and I see something new and different and exciting. It's amazing, really is.
Have you seen the experiments on a moto on water? Have you seen them on plants?
The on the sound waves, the frequency.
Yeah, well, basically what happens is you get, just to reiterate your point really, which is that if you take water and then you speak into the water. I do this all the time. My kids used to think I was nuts. I had a girlfriend once who said, if you bring that rose back to life, I'll eat my hat. Well, and then she didn't have a hat, thank God. Otherwise, she would have had to eat her hat. But basically, what they found was a motor looked at water, and if you speak into it and you say things like love and Christ and healing
Oh, I've
and
heard
spirit,
about this. Yeah.
and then you water the plant, and the plant that you did that to, what happens is it grows. Even Miranda Hart recently did this. And then you take another plant, you say nasty words to it, whatever, and it just dies. And then there's the control, which is in the middle, which you just water and you don't say anything to, because you have to have the control.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
did it with rice as well, rice in a container, and the rice that you said horrible things to, that gets black. And
Wow.
so I say to people, well, if you don't believe me, that's fine, but go and do it, and then see
See
what
how you
happens,
feel.
and then come back to me
Yeah,
and have a
yeah. That's the way to do
conversation.
it.
But a lot of people are afraid. They're
There's,
afraid that it's going to take them out of their comfort zone.
there was also a lot of research. I don't know which book it was. I remember reading this book that a guy he'd hooked plants up to a lie detector test and to measure the electromagnetic or however it works, frequencies going through the leaves. And he'd talk to the plants. And then he started noticing that when he left the room, the readings would flicker when he actually left the room. When he came back, and then he'd sort of like break a leaf and it'd go up. And he measured all this. It was all documented. And he went on holiday, and the plant showed stress when he left. And then when he came back, there was readings when he entered this stuff was like great. I mean, he was dismissed as being crazy, but it's
Mhm.
all out there. And this book's been sort of buried somewhere. But I remember reading bits of it, thinking, it's. I mean, they're not. They haven't brains the same as we have, but I do believe that they have. They are living organisms, so there must be some kind of energy there who's to say? But I'm really, really fascinated by all
No, I
that stuff.
agree that even with curling photography, you can make a curling photography plate if you cut a leaf and then the leaf's cut, but you'll still see the leaf, the outline of the leaf.
Yeah, yeah,
And I know when I was working in hospitals nursing, unfortunately people would have their legs taken off for amputations, and they would have pain and they could feel the bottom of their foot itching, and this would
wow,
persist for a while because the auric field of the body or the
yeah,
resonant or whatever you want to call it, magnetic field,
yeah,
and of course now we're getting better and better, and even acupuncture, what, 3,000 years old, and now we know the
yeah,
resistance points where you have acupuncture points
yeah,
as electrical conductivity point is different.
yeah,
So when I came across your stuff, it was like it really reminded me of that story Ray Mears said somebody crashed on an island and they died, and actually there was food right next to them, but
yeah.
they'd lost the knowledge,
Yeah, it's crazy.
you know?
I think we've gone. I think two generations. I think our great grandmas had a lot of it. Was doing a lot of this stuff, and it's either been hidden, in my opinion, or it's been lost one way or
Yeah.
other. But I do think I think it's as recent as that. I don't think you have to go back hundreds and hundreds of years. I do think it's just two or three generations down the line. But it's good. It's good that I feel that science is catching up, and I think you don't have to be spiritual to understand this stuff now and to sort of prove this stuff. It's literally like a lot of it's scientifically sort of proven now, especially with that you'd say about the auric field and frequencies and stuff. Especially like I'm sort of looking into practicing sort of sound healing eventually and stuff like that. You know, the frequencies and stuff. I find that fascinating. I think that's the future. I think, or a big part of the future is the medicinal herbs and the sound healing, the frequencies. I do. I think that's the way a lot of it's going.
I've got to I'll see if I can find it and dig it up and send it to you. But they in Tibet they had this cave that was really high up, and there was no way to get to the cave basically.
Yeah,
But eventually, they had to ropes and everything climbed. I went in, it was really ornate, and they said, "Well, how did you do this?" And what they basically the Buddhists did, these monks, they had a big bowl, like a stone bowl, and they put the rock or the thing they wanted to put into the cave, and they
yeah,
angled these great big horns that they have. They're sort of really, really long horns.
yeah.
They angled them all around and they chanted and they blew the horns, and the vibration of that would
Oh
lift up that
wow.
thing. I've got the diagram somewhere because I
Oh
thought
wow. You must do. Yeah, please.
I'd love to try it.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to get these great big horns, but
yeah.
basically, I think
Crazy.
you're right. And even with Egypt now, they've now discovered pillars under the under
Yeah.
the pyramids, and yet I find it fascinating because that's hardly made the news. It's
Well,
gone
I,
quiet. It's
yeah.
like, come on.
Too much other stuff going on, isn't there?
Yeah, yeah.
Without
I think
getting-
it's distraction. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like that
There's a
film,
lot.
the film that's come out, Spielberg's film, isn't there? It's just come out
I'm going to
about.
see it on Friday. I must sit reading some of the reviews. There's lots. I really enjoyed the Avatar films. I thought there's
Mm,
so much, especially the last Avatar film,
yeah.
regarding the connection with nature. And I'm fascinated to see what's in the Spielberg film because I've heard there's one or two moments in there that's quite interesting.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. It is, and it's. I do think things been either hidden from us by the powers that be, or lost, or destroyed, or without. I try not to spend too much time down the rabbit holes. I've been there, and I've done that. I've been very distracted with that in the past, but now I'm very much like I'd rather find this. I'm looking for solutions. I'm not looking for problems.
I agree.
That's
I agree.
that's
Become part of the solution, not part of the
yeah,
problem.
exactly. Man.
Totally agree. So when you go out, because one of the things that was fascinating to me, because I've come across this a lot, one of your videos I watched because I watched them all, is that there was the difference between. I mean, I know the difference, but the difference between, say, garlic, wild garlic, and then I think it was hemlock, wasn't it? Or there was one that was poisonous.
Yeah.
Um, and so for anybody listening, is there kind of golden rules that we look
Um.
at?
Yeah, I think the golden rule with the foraging course I've been on, the guy forager within this guy on Instagram, he always says that is to just educate yourself on it. But he's very big on the fact that I think a lot of people get so scared and like hemlock and giant hogweed, the nasties out there. There's only two or three, and then there's some pretty bad mushrooms. But not to be too scared about it. Like educate yourself on it. So, and also like cross-reference stuff because a lot of stuff does look very similar. So it's not, you mustn't just sort of go out there and people think, oh, it looks like this, or it just smells like this. There's a lot of lookalikes. I try and include a lot of toxic lookalikes into my stuff so people can see the similarities. So if it looks the same and smells the same, maybe it's got texture, maybe it's got a ridged stem or hairs on the stem. And another good one is where's it growing? So some lookalikes like to be near water, some are very much like in dry areas. So that's one good way of splitting them up. But yeah, use all your senses, smell, touch, if it's safe. I mean, the last one you can use is taste, but you've got to be pretty sure on all the other ones before you sort of, nibble a bit. But yeah, it's just educating yourself a little bit. But the fascinating thing is, I've found over the years, is literally try not to like learn it all in one go. I've found that just one or two plants per year, get yourself really familiar with it, eat them, cook with them, watch the growing stages all year, and you find like when you go out in nature, the years after, that's the first one you see, like, oh, like say it's that one, and no, it's that one. So slow and build up your knowledge slowly, rather than thinking I'm going to learn everything about plants in 1 year or 1 month or whatever. It's just do it properly, organically, and sort of, yeah.
Yeah, I think the Native Americans used to take absolutely ages, didn't they? And
Yeah,
take
I used
time.
to. I was very impatient when I started, and I found, especially on the foraging courses, was saying like, look, just learn one mushroom a year, and I'm like, yeah, it's going to take me 10 years to learn 10 mushrooms. But will you ever come across 10 different edible mushrooms in your life? It's like, well, maybe not. No. So it's a good way of looking at it. Just take your time, and if in doubt, leave it out. Or my favorite one is, don't munch on a hunch. It's like that was so, if you are in any doubt, you're not sure, just leave it. Just
It,
leave
it's
it.
it's
Take a bit
funny.
home with you and do a proper idea.
Well, I went out with a friend of mine, and he was a bit of a hippie. Is a bit of a hippie, should I say? He didn't get killed, but basically he went out and there were some mushrooms, and I think it was puccinis, or I don't know how you pronounce them, and
Opportunity. Yeah.
but he was like very much like he didn't think about it. He just picked them up and went, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
You know,
But
yeah. He was, and then he started telling me all about flageric and everything, and I was like, yeah, okay, but it's
yeah.
fascinating.
My
I mean,
my missus always says it's like taking a dog for a walk with me. She'll turn around and I'm like munching on something. What the hell have you got? Come on, spit it out. Come on, spit it out. It's like, so but I think I'm quite confident now. But there's still stuff where if I look at it and I think I'm not sure, I'm not 100% sure, I'll just leave it and just maybe take a bit home to ID it and stuff and what have you. But there's so much out there. It blows my mind. Once I start looking into the medicinal side of it, I've known about the edible side a few
Mm.
years, but once you start looking at the medicinal ones, it's incredible. And I've taken stuff. I've had prostate issues. I've had various other gut health issues, and the stuff I've taken has sorted me out. And I'm not saying I'm not a doctor. I'm not saying do all this and dismiss medical stuff. But the stuff that's helped me with has
Mm.
been absolutely incredible. I drank nettle tea for this last winter gone. I used to suffer with hay fever. I have no symptoms now with hay fever. It's totally sorted my hay fever out. They're just small things like that. But I think gut health, there's so many good things out there for gut health, and I think gut health is very important. That's a
It's
good.
funny because the nettle tea, you must have read my mind. I was gonna say exactly that because I picked the male seeds,
Oh yes, yeah,
put them in, in the oven for a little bit, then put them through a sieve, and I put it on my
yeah.
cereal. It's got high B content in
Yeah,
it and
it's really do find
A.
them good
It's
for energy as well. I mean, I eat them
oh,
raw on
brilliant.
on a walk.
Mm.
On a walk, I'll eat them raw. And the first time I did it, I was absolutely buzzing. You know what I mean? It's like, but yeah, yeah. The dried nettle seeds are great as well. But the whole nettle plant is. When in my nursery days growing plants, I was in charge of pest and disease control. So ironically, I spent about 30 years spraying dandelions and nettles and all this lot, and it's gone completely the other way now. They're the super, well, nettles are a super and dandelions are almost like a soupy curd, like, sort of thing.
Totally. I mean, I used, I think, every part of the dandelion. I mean, the stalk's a bit kind of acidic, but I use every part of it and I love it. With
Yeah,
the nettle tea, because funny enough, my brother-in-law was over the other day and he gets hay fever and I said, you need nettle
yeah.
tea. Went out, we don't have any nettles. I couldn't believe the one time I'm looking at these things, right? Every other time the buggers are trying to sting you. So, I'm just going to tell you how I do it. I don't know how to do it, so I want your advice really. So I take just the small tips and then I steep them. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. So all I mean, my way is typical, just sort of like no nonsense. All I'll do early in the season is take the sort of top few inches, pour boiling water on them, leave them 3, 4, 5 minutes, and then I'll literally get a fork, eat the nettles straight out the thing, and then pour the juice out, and drink the tea. Or last year I dried a whole bunch of it and stored it all winter, so I could have the dried nettle tea as well. So I had like a year's supply. But the fresh stuff's I think the fresh stuff's better. Yeah, I mean I
Agree.
like the nettles sautéed with like poached eggs on top. or just as a spinach substitute. But
They're really
it's
good. They're
incredible.
great. They're great like a spinach substitute, and
Oh,
it always reminds me of pea soup as a stock sometimes, isn't it? It's like
yeah, really,
and,
really, really lovely. And
and when,
the actual an amazing fact with the nettles is the stems, the fibers out of the stems. You can make clothes out of them. And I looked into it, and during the First World War, it was something like 80% of the German uniform was made out of nettle fiber. Literally, their uniform was made out of nettles because it was so robust and cheap to make. It was like crazy. What a plant!
it's done.
I'm thinking about starting a support group for people like me with like who are like nettles a bit much. It's going to be Nettles Anonymous. NA for short. NA. I mean, I'm sure that'd be all right.
Hello, my name's Pip, and I'm a nettle fiend.
I like my nettles. I like my nettles, but yeah.
No, I love it because I think even they used to. I think the Romans used to do it like a circulation. They'd hit themselves with
Yes, yeah,
nettles
and
to.
keep warm and to keep warm as
Yeah.
well. Like, and also there's a guy on the last foraging course I did, kept one on his patio, and every morning he had really bad arthritis in his hands, and he'd whipping out his own hands. He did it for years, and he absolutely swore by it because of the circulation and the histamine in your blood and that sorted him out, gave him relief. So,
I mean, it's amazing stuff. And and
I,
with the drying, how do you dry them? Do you put them in the oven, or do you just what do you
yeah,
do?
so I have a dehydrator.
Right.
You can pick them up quite cheap, or you can just leave them in a sunny room or a sunny windowsill for a couple of days. The
Okay.
dehydrators are good because you can sort of like do it quicker
Yeah.
and have a bit more control over. Because I do a lot of like that's how I like to do my roots and make jerky and stuff like that. The dehydrator comes into its own with mushrooms as well. If you want to dry mushrooms for stocks and soups and that, but you can do it on a sunny windowsill. You really don't need any special equipment at all, really.
So I could do because I know I make South African biltong dried meat with an air fryer.
Oh wow!
So 2 hours.
Well,
Um,
that's right on my street. That is.
oh, it's so good because I red wine vinegar and I use the original Afrikaans recipe. Very none of this
Oh
chili
wow.
stuff and you slice it very thin, stick it in, bung, done.
Oh yeah.
And
I,
of
I
course,
did I did duck last year. I did
oh
some duck
wow.
jerky. And that was amazing. That I think that was my favorite one. That the duck.
I've never tried that. I'm gonna give that. I'm definitely gonna give that a go.
Yeah.
It's
And
so
I've got and the best. I've just got to say that while it's in my head, that the best tea. My favorite tea that I'd forage is rose bay willow herb. The pink spires. They just come into flower in July, and you see them everywhere. You can't not see them in July. Big pink spires there. That makes the most amazing tea, and it's the common name is Russian chai because in the First World War again, I think it was the biggest export out of Russia. They used to export this tea, Russian chai, and it's so good for your prostate and it's the best tasting tea. So if you ever want a good one to do, yeah, rose bay willow herb,
what? So
amazing.
get them in the UK.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I need
You
to.
see them on roadsides, the side of railway tracks because the seeds get swept everywhere.
Okay.
And they're just like spikes, big tall spikes on the roadside of pink, beautiful flower it is. And that's edible as well. So the stems are edible. The new shoots in spring are like asparagus shoots. You can eat them raw, but the tea is really good, really tasty. Because some of the
With
teas,
the leaves you make the
yeah.
tea.
So the tea, all you do with the tea is pick the leaves, wilt the leaves. So for about 10 or 12 hours, just let them go soft. You mustn't let them go crisp. Wilt them up, and then the fermentation process starts when you get them in your fingers and roll them, and then on your palm of your hand roll them into little balls. Leave them out to dry for like 12 hours, and that's it. You can dry the flower so that the actual tea itself looks beautiful with little pink flowers in, and that's it. I mean, I kept mine for a couple of years, and it's amazing. Really good for your prostate health, full of iron,
I'm definitely
antioxidants.
doing that. And I mean, that's quite interesting, isn't it? Because the whole, willow bark is where we get aspirin, and
Yeah,
it's that real debate that we get into about pharmaceutical, via natural. And I think that there's a kickback right now. I think people are
yeah,
going, like
yeah,
we call something a side effect. Well, it's not a side effect; it's an effect.
yeah, yeah,
And so I mean, pharmaceuticals have their place, 100%.
yeah,
You and I agree on that.
yeah, definitely.
But I'm always very much like food is medicine, medicine's food.
Yeah,
That's the first thing, Hippocrates,
yeah.
and then from there, go homeopathy, vitamins, minerals, and
And I think it's
pharmaceutical last.
I think it should be complementary medicine a lot as well. I mean, it's to
Okay.
support. It's to support. I'm a bit cynical with the whole I'm not going to like the whole pharmaceutical thing.
Yeah,
Anyway, but I'm not going to. I certainly wouldn't say to anybody stop taking medicines and just do this.
sure.
I think they can support it, But the thing is with human beings and nature and plants is sort of you've got that much evolution, like where we've basically evolved together and grown and eaten stuff and evolved like all animals will adapt and evolve to their environments. There's only been that last tiny little bit of like few hundred years where we've become reliant on shops and pharmaceuticals and other stuff and stuff. So there must be that we must have evolved alongside plants in that section, and I don't think we've lost it in that tiny bit of evolutionary history. I think it's very much like that's what we sort of evolved with. So our bodies are bound to be in tune because that's how we evolved with plants because that's all we had. That's my
Yeah.
take on it.
Yeah, well, no, it's true. I mean, if you think about a child in the womb, you're breathing liquid, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
You're like a fish, you know,
yeah,
and then you come out, and the reason you cry is because of the pressure, your lungs suddenly inflate,
yeah, yeah.
and how painful
Yeah,
is that? No
that's
wonder you
incredible.
cry.
Yeah,
It goes
yeah, wow.
like that, you know, and also how we have this thing about, there was a thing about why we lick ice. Because maybe there was a time we lived near the sea and the
Yeah,
ice contained the minerals, and you see elephants doing it,
yeah,
and I find it fascinating because the one thing I'm seeing a real deficiency in my patients is magnesium. That's the
yeah,
number one thing I'm seeing a deficiency in.
yeah,
And the food is just adulterated right now.
yeah.
The highly
It is.
processed food.
I mean 30 years ago I used to like a takeaway and I used to eat a fair bit of but it's nothing it's not even like that anymore, is it? I think even the last if you go at 20 years it's nothing like now. So it's the worrying thing is it's I think it's kind of getting worse, the whole processed food thing, and it's I don't know, you've yeah, your body is a temple, isn't it? And it's like if you look after it, I think to a certain degree as well. I mean, again, I'm not a medical by any means, but I think if you give your body what it needs, it will heal itself to a certain degree. I'm not saying it's going to cure itself of everything, but that's what I think. And like I say, I'm not a doctor, but I think you give it what it needs, and it's very good at healing a lot of stuff.
I think so as well. And if you think of, most medics when they have nutritional training, they have 2 hours training. Two
Yeah, it's great.
hours.
Yeah, it's
Two
great.
hours. It's the fundamentals,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
so we go into hospital to get well, and they give us
yeah.
pharmaceutical drugs with side effects, and then they give us food that's been cooked to hell,
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
and full of sugar,
Yeah,
proteins,
yeah.
colorings, and
There you go.
everything.
There
But
you go.
and I think it's okay to own that. I think it's okay to call it out because I think people are now calling it out.
Yeah,
But
definitely. I think they are, and I think they're not only. I get the impression on the social medias is that people are not only looking at stuff. I think that the people who follow me are asking questions as well. So they're not just see. I think now we're at a point where, thankfully, they're not just seeing the stuff. They're actually. I think people are questioning it and also asking questions about how to, how to for solutions. They're asking questions, which is great to see.
I agree. I mean, my kids grew up with homeopathy.
That's brilliant.
I think they were inoculated when they went to Africa. They had all the yellow fevers and everything else like
Yeah,
that. And it's a really interesting one because even when we talk about inoculation, the problem is that we live in this world where, I mean, you can see it in politics, right wing, left wing, but actually it's not like that. There's a gray in between, right?
yeah, yeah,
And nobody wants to talk about it, and
yeah.
that's the
There you
problem.
go.
The
Yes.
polarity is either left or right.
Yeah,
It's like,
that's
you're a skinhead and a rocker over here, and you're a greaser
yeah,
over here, and that's
yeah,
it. But actually, a bit like
yeah.
as you get older, you start to listen
Very
to
interesting.
the music. I listen to the Jam now. I would never would have listened to the Jam
Oh, the
before.
German, one of my
But
all-time favorites, aren't
yeah, I
they?
mean, exactly,
Yeah,
Hinton Rifles. So
yeah.
love that stuff, and I love the fact that I can in nature. I don't know if there was a program. I think Bruce Perry, I think it was called Tribe, and he would go and live with these tribes.
Well,
Do
I did. Yes, I did say that.
you
Yes,
remember that?
fascinating. Yeah,
But what was
fascinating.
interesting was that they said, right, you've got a problem with this, and they go in and they would get something. Well, how do you know it's good for you? And the tribal people would say, well, look, it looks like a heart. And then I thought
Yeah,
that's so. Then you get the avocado that looks like a womb. It's good for
yeah,
estrogen.
yeah,
Tomato's got 4 chambers. What does have that? The heart, good for the heart.
yeah,
An eye, you cut it.
yeah.
Yeah,
The thing is, these tribes and these people have not had any contact with society. They're not seeing it on telly, and they're not seeing it on a movie. So I think a lot of this stuff is fascinating that comes out of places like because it's like they've seen it somewhere, they've heard it somewhere, and they've not read it in the newspaper. So there's some truth in a lot of this stuff. It really is.
And they pass it down,
Fascinating.
don't they? The father will pass it down,
Yes.
and but what was really good was the wisdom keepers in the tribe were the eld. So the elderly people weren't just shoved in some nursing
Yeah, there
home.
you go.
They were the
Yeah.
wisdom keepers, and they would
Yeah.
show you how. I mean, who would have thought getting an arrow and dipping it on the back of a frog, and then would tranquilize?
Yeah.
I mean, the poor guy that
It-
first tried that. Yeah, have a
It's like
lick.
I think like a lot of the mushroom tests as well. I often think
Yeah.
like one guy's going to be tripping his head off, and the other guy's unlucky going to be unlucky with that. I think as well.
I
It's
think.
interesting what you said about it's really fascinating what you said about the grey, about not wanting to delve into the grey. That's fascinating, and I think
Mm,
a lot of parts of society don't want us to dive into the grey, do they? Because I
no.
think that's where a lot of the juicy stuff is. It's like they'd rather be distracted fighting left, right, black, white, or whatever. That's really interesting. That.
Well, I think it is distraction. I think if you distract, I mean, if you look at Stalin, how he got all the people to line up and he said, put your hands out like this. And if they had soft hands, that was it. Your life was over because he realized that the intellectual people, the thinking people were dangerous.
And also the bread and circus thing as well. It's a lot
Yeah.
of it's bread and circus as well and what have you and stuff. I understand a lot more of that now.
And I think that's where we're at, is that I think people like yourself are saying, no, hold on a second, there's a lost knowledge, an ancient knowledge there. But this
Yeah,
knowledge belongs to all of us. And it's a little bit worrying for me the way that the GMO foods, where you create a seed which then can't repropagate, and then you own the patent on the seed,
yeah,
you know?
yeah. It is that. Yeah, and a lot of hybridized sort of fruit, and I just used to take it for granted. I used to work. Well, I used to grow a lot of fruit, produce it with my bare hands, like from grafting trees and
Mm.
stuff. And looking back of the old varieties that have gone, literally gone since bringing in like GMO stuff and stuff that doesn't produce seed just for
Mm.
a sweeter apple or a smellier rose, or is quite alarming, really.
I think was it Jody Mitchell put up a parking lot, a song.
Oh yeah, that was yesterday. I heard it on the radio, and
Oh,
I always used to listen to that song and think, what the hell is it on about? And then, until I sat down one day and actually listened to it, and it's like bloody hell, she knew.
she did. She was really big. I mean, I don't
She
know about
knew.
you. I have you seen many bees this year? I've not seen many. I don't know.
No, mate, very
It's
few. Yet last year there was a lot of bumblebees. Well, bumblebees are
yeah,
my spirit animal. Big clumsy and likes to eat.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
so yeah. I haven't seen many at all, and also in just insects in general. I went out for a drive couple of weeks ago in the car when it's hot. And back in the day, you'd sort of get back from a drive and your windscreen would be covered in flies. Dead
100%.
flies. You put your windscreen wrap on, it just smear.
Yeah,
And I think I counted about three on the front of the dash, and that's worrying for the whole food
yeah.
chain, really, for the birds and the predators and stuff like that.
Well, it's quite
Um,
interesting because they had this thing about mosquitoes recently that there's this thing. It's called unnatural selection. I watched it on Netflix, and this thing called CRISPR where they can change the molecular structure. They can go in and change DNA. Very easily. I mean, stupidly easily. You could do it in your back garden, to be honest, that
Bloody
easy. I
hell.
mean, if you want to glow like I don't know, like a jellyfish, you can do it. You inject and boom, that's it, you glow.
Wow.
And what was fascinating was they talked about the mosquito and they wanted to change the mosquito in order for it to be able to not, carry malaria. And I do get that. And from our white perspective in this country, going, oh no, that's going to the ecosystem. And then you got somebody in a tribe in Africa going, well, actually, I've lost 3 kids to malaria.
Yeah.
It's very privileged.
Yeah.
Problem is that what happens if we alter that, send it out into the environment? Now the frogs don't have the mosquitoes to eat.
Yeah, that's it.
It's
Yeah.
it's a
The
real
knock-on effects is massive. It's far greater than people realize. It's like people think, oh, it's only a pesky mosquito and that, but the
yeah.
knock-on effect from stuff like that is far reaching.
I
It
think so.
really is.
It is. So is there foraging in the winter as well? Are there?
Yeah, there is. So a couple of years ago, I took it upon myself to I thought to myself when I was doing my walking and my foraging, I thought, I'm going to document. I bet I can't find things to eat or make teas out of in like November, December, January. And there was every month of the year. So you've got winter mushrooms, a couple of mushrooms that you see regularly through the winter. You've
Hmm.
got like catkins that come out in the winter, leaf bark, um, twigs. I mean, there's pine needles. There's all sorts of stuff. So it blew my mind how much I could get in the winter. I mean, certainly not. And my favorite one was rose hips. So like your
Hmm.
wild roses you see in the hedgebacks with the red rose hips.
Hmm.
If you leave them on so they get a few frost in and have them in the winter, they taste like apple puree. So if you're walking along and you see them, you squeeze the red out and taste it, it's just a smack of like really sweet apple puree. And it's
Yeah.
like you're absolutely buzzing on this sugary. So there is stuff. And I think people because there wasn't as much stuff. I think that's why in springtime, especially with the nettles, people used to like celebrate and gorge and sort of like they were the spring. That's when the spring tonics come in because your bodies might have been a bit depleted,
Yeah,
but there's definitely stuff to carry you through winter
I think so.
if you know where to look for it. Yeah, definitely, it's amazing.
Because the sea buckthorn as well. I mean, I know it's very astringent because of the ascorbic acid,
Yeah, I've
loads of
not
vitamin
tried that one. Yeah,
C.
I've seen it, but have you tried
Oh,
that one?
tried it. Oh, wow. I mean, it's like vitamin C powder. It's really strong.
Wow, I've heard it's very good though.
You're best making a like a syrup out of it.
Oh wow,
A bit the way you would make make mead or something like
oh
that.
wow.
Sort of soak it, but they're so
Yeah,
potent. Oh, I
I
mean,
tell you what, I did make last autumn. Hawthorn ketchup.
wow.
So the berries, because doing my reading up, and it's basically related to the apple. So if you peel the hawthorn and kind of nibble it, it just tastes like ripened apple. Because I always used to think the red and the poisonous, and you mustn't go near them. But the hawthorn's amazing. So the actual plant was always revered in the olden days for like heart health, and it's been proven that it improves cardiovascular health. And but the so if you sort of soak the hawthorns and add apple cider vinegar and some brown sugar and do various things to it, and it tastes like a smoky barbecue sauce. It's the most amazing thing. This ketchup I made was like, oh my God, this is actually from hawthorns. It's crazy.
Have you thought about writing a sort of recipe book on
Yes,
based on this?
I've thought about
You must
I've
do
toyed
it.
the idea for years with the book,
Mm,
and since starting doing this. It's on the cards, but I want to keep learning a bit first. I don't want to sell
okay.
myself short with like stuff I might have missed out and stuff. And I'd rather, it's a bit like my social media accounts. I want to take my time with it and grow them sort of organically, and so that I can learn as well. I don't want to, if I jump in there and I'm not sure about stuff, or I don't, I'm not 100% certain or feel
Mm.
confident with stuff. I want to be able to do it properly. So yeah, the book thing's it's definitely in the pipeline, I think.
I think it's a great idea because one of the things about edibles is that they're often draw pictures, but what I'd like to see is a photograph.
Yeah.
I'd like
And
to
I think,
see of every bit, like what
yeah,
the back looked like, the shape looks like,
yeah,
all of that.
yeah. And I'd like to do it in a way where it's not. I mean, a lot of suffrage books go into sort of like the molecular breakdown of everything, and sort of like I want mine to be more of a no nonsense, clear pictures. This is good. That's not good. That's worked for me. That hasn't. You know what I mean? And that's one of the reasons I use I call my account A Up Nature. It's just basically like Hello Nature, like in a northern no nonsense like Hello Nature, A Up Nature. That's because I want it to be usable for everybody, not just sort of like us plant people. It wants to be sort of like a language that everyone understands and sort of Sheila down the road can sort of like go and forage some nettles on a Tuesday afternoon and stuff, not just for like for the other people and stuff. It wants to be accessible for
Yeah, I
everybody.
think I'm with you there. I always think that if you can't teach something to someone, it's not the student's fault, it's the teacher's fault.
Yeah, definitely.
If I get
100%.
somebody coming in for, say, they're coming to see me and we're talking about circulation and they're a plumber, I then will talk about plumbing and circulation and
Yeah, that's it.
I adapt my conversation.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But if you're going in somewhere and I'm using big medical words and
Yeah.
whatever, it's actually me that's looking like an idiot because
Yeah.
I'm just up myself then at that point. And I think like if you go to the GPs, the GP that's always busy, he's the one that takes his time and is
Yeah.
and I think that's what this needs. This needs somebody to go out and almost like say, look, these are the ones that are safe. These are the ones that don't look like,
Yeah. Yeah.
start with the basics. Like I remember making bowstring with nettle,
Yeah.
and drying it in cordage and
Yeah. And there's stuff that I mean there's so many plants out there that I haven't covered or and I won't cover which are edible, but because they're so either few and far between or they're really I mean you could eat the classic ones like a spear thistle, like the
mm,
most aggressive looking thistle, which is edible. It is edible. But if you really have to put gauntlets on your hands, so like chop the spears off and then peel it and
yeah,
blanch it and bake it and this, that, and the other. It's like, are you not better leaving it for the bees? The bees love them. It's like, come on,
I know.
So there's some things I like leave and think that's for the bees or that's for nature. And it's interesting to have a nibble, but I'm not going to start ripping off all the hedgerows and saying,
Yeah,
you must start eating everything out of here because I think it's unethical and B,
agree.
it's not really time worthy.
I also think the Native American approach was that if you go foraging, you would say take two, leave three,
Yeah,
because
that's
they
it.
knew
Yeah,
the next generation, or they would take one, plant it,
that's it.
and
Yeah,
then, I remember when we were making fire, the whole point was is you make your fire, but when you left, you'd get water, you'd rub it into you would leave no
yeah,
trace.
that's it.
And it's
Yeah,
respect, leave it the way it was. And if you look
yeah,
in society, you could say that there's a reflection in society right now of that lack of caring, people throwing litter out and
yeah. And then,
you
and
know,
then the big one is like on the litter thing. It's like I was at the seaside the other day. I love Filey, and they've got all the seagulls coming in, and they're so I love seagulls, man. I think they're one of the most
I love
beautiful
them.
and characters and stuff like that. And they're persecuted. It's like the signs up everywhere saying don't see. I do that anyway, and
Mm.
I feed them all the time. Not I don't chuck things into groups of people and that. But if people didn't leave rubbish in town centres, there wouldn't be urban seagulls. Just like there wouldn't be urban foxes in town. There's loads of urban foxes down town centres just because we don't tidy up our
Yeah.
waste. And then they complain that there's like seagulls and like I think the most persecuted animal like me. I'd absolutely love it. If you had a bird like that and it wasn't a seagull in your garden, it looked that beautiful. You'd be like, look at
Yeah.
this. It's like, you know,
And we vilify according to human traits that we think are negative. Like we go, as cunning as a fox,
yeah,
or
that's
as
it. Yes,
sly as a rat,
it's
or
it.
and
That's a
actually
good one.
they're great. They're great things. They're
Yeah,
clever. I mean,
that's the
crows are so clever.
Yeah, I love crows. I absolutely love
Oh,
crows. Yeah, and going back to the sort of nature thing before, I was just going to say like connections with nature. So if ever I'm foraging and I'm taking stuff basically, I always leave a gift. I always leave for the gift for nature. So it's usually either bird seed or something for the duck, something like that. I always make a point of leaving a gift if I'm taking something. I just think that's good karma as well. It makes me
I
feel.
think so. I think so. And I think that's where the spiritual sort of side comes in it, because some of the most spiritual people I've come across in my life are farmers, because they see the cycle of life, they
Yeah,
see death come and go. And sometimes you talk to a farmer and you think they've read some kind of Bhagavad Gita book or something, or some,
really. Yeah,
because they're just they'll just sit there quietly and they'll look at the fields and they'll go, oh yeah, yeah, look at that bird over there. I went in Africa. There was a bird, a particular bird, and the juju man, they call him the juju man, the medicine
yeah,
man. Because I learned the first thing you do if you want to really go into medical aid into a tribe is go and find the juju man, because if you
yeah.
get
Oh,
you get
wow,
you get his blessing, you're
wow,
good.
that's amazing,
So
man.
you work with him. So you work with
Wow.
modern science
Yeah,
and the old ways together, and you find your
fascinating.
common ground. So this bird, they would go and get this bird, and this bird, if you ate it, was particularly good for some ailment. I can't remember what the ailment was. Of course, what I discovered was that the bird was eating plants, but a particular plant that were high in a particular nutrient. They would then go
I
into
see.
the bird, like almost
Wow.
homeopathically. You would then eat the bird that contained this high nutrient. So
Wow.
that's where science and comes together, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You
That's
know?
fascinating, that. I like the whole juju man thing as well. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
it's
yeah. He-
make
that
friends with the juju man.
Oh, they were so great. I mean, they're really
Fantastic.
great. I gave him a pair of
Wow.
glasses, and we collected all these glasses that had been left behind in airplanes, and some of them like Ray-Bans, so the trendiest juju men in Africa. And
Wow.
we gave him, and it wasn't sort of, oh, you're like an eye test, look forward. He just put these on, and they were huge. These things,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the Morecambe and Wise size,
Wow.
and his face just lit up, and I thought, wow, a
Yeah.
silly 199 pair of glasses you could
Yeah.
buy, and his life was
Yeah.
transformed. But
Yeah, that's it.
the wisdom that they had and the knowledge that those guys had.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was in Africa, I would die, they'd survive.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow, yeah.
it's
I
simple as
don't, I
that.
don't, you can't put a price on that kind of wisdom and
No.
I mean, generation after generation of passed down stuff. And I just think going back to all sort of like generations here, I think it's the last two or three. Our great grandmas probably knew
Mm.
a great deal, and it's either not passed down or hidden, which is a shame. But I'm going to bring a bit of it back.
No, you need to. I think we need
Um,
we need those rebels too. What
yeah.
about pig nuts? Because I find them a real pain to get. They're
Pig
so
nuts. I've only come across them a couple of times,
yeah,
and I've dug them up. But because I think you need a lot of them, and I've around
yeah.
the thing with me is that I'm not going to go far from a foraging. I've always sort of set out just to show what's around me, and I just want to show people that you don't have to go far. Live by your means. Look what's around you and stuff. And these pig nuts I came across were I think they were somewhere more Leeds way, and there's like a meadow where I
Mm.
saw a lot of them, and I dug a few up, and it was like they're very you need a lot.
You do, and they're really sneaky because what happens is they've got a spiral,
They'll break
um,
off, don't
and
they?
it goes off to the right. So
Yeah,
you think you're going to go down, but actually it's to the right or the
yeah,
left. And I remember
yeah,
getting it, and I thought, seriously, I mean, how many of these things are going to need to survive? So
yeah.
it's
There's a lot of stuff like that. Yeah,
I'd rather go for the other one I get is oh God, what's it? It's got lots of vitamin B in it. I can't remember it, but almost looks like a weed. We've got them in gardens. They've got lots of little buds all over, and they're nutty.
um,
Oh, plantain.
oh, plantain. Yeah, I mean, that's a
Yes.
great one. So the ribwort plantain is great for like gut health as well. And I last year when I got into the plantain one, I'd make the tea, but they're so bitter. So I'd make the tea, I thought I'm going to do the same as the nettles. Pour the boiling water on, leave it, soak it for a bit, and then eat the leaves, and then drink it. And the leaves are great, but they're so bitter, and they're so you can understand. I think it's the only weed in the field that horses will leave. But I used to eat
Interesting.
all the leaves in there. But the plant and the flowers, the little flower heads on the plantain, taste of mushroom. It's
Wow.
literally if you can eat them raw and they taste of, or drop them in a stew, and it's like mushroom. Another one. These little so there is blackberry buds. When the blackberries in spring start growing out, the little swollen buds, they taste like coconut. Like it just tastes like coconut. Stuff like that blows my mind. It's like how did that come about to taste like coconut and like these other the ribwort plantain tea, if you dry those out in a particular way, the tea tastes like a combination between ripe banana
Yeah.
and like sticky toffee pudding. It's like a banana-y, it's crazy. It really blows my mind.
I love that stuff. It's a bit like
Yeah,
the experiment. I mean, try this. It's a fantastic experiment. This is the French side of my family because I'm half French. So I was over having something to eat in France,
yes.
and my brother-in-law called me over, and I don't drink white wine. I find it too dry. I just don't.
Uh,
I'd rather drink red wine. So I'm having he gives me this white wine, and it's as dry as the desert, and it's like ugh. So then he gave me some cheese, but a really strong cheese, like as strong as you could, your
right, yeah.
stinky feet cheese, right? So my wife's so French, she opens the fridge in the whole kitchen. And I had some of this, and then he gave me back the wine, and the wine was like a pudding wine. It was so sweet.
Oh wow, bloody hell, that
It's
blows my mind, stuff like that.
Try it. It's an
Yeah,
amazing experiment. And you go, hold on a second. I know that this wine just now was really, but it's got to be strong. Like go for like
yeah, yeah.
a blue
Wow, I'm gonna
vein
try that.
or yeah.
And another good one is have you ever put let me get this right way around. Honey on the blue cheese, you know the stinky cheese, the blue
Yes,
cheese.
the blue vein.
Honey on blue cheese blows mine as well because it's literally because you don't get the bitterness, but you just get this
Interesting.
creamy sweet. It's a bit like ice creamy, sort of like yeah, complete the honey completely gets rid of the bitter. It just becomes a really gorgeous, sweet, creamy, yeah.
I'm so doing that
Yeah.
because I still want to make mead as well. Apparently they found it
Blue cheese and
In
honey, mate, is the
Egypt.
way.
I
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
I like the fact that you can go out and you can make a whole salad just from I could walk out here, for example, there's woods
Yeah.
out the back, and I could literally just make a salad.
We did it last year because I'm half Cypriot.
Yeah.
We did it, and I love Greek food and everything. So we thought we'd try and do like a some kind of horta pie, like a basically in Cyprus to do like a chicken pie, which is full of like also has like the local herbs and veggies in. So we got some cheese, and then we got dandelion roots, mugwort, cooked nettle, and three or four other vegetables from the hedgerow, and did this pie, and it was absolutely amazing with cheese. It's
That's
like
got to be in your book.
yeah,
That's got to
and salads as well. I mean, I like the
yeah.
bitterness of the dandelion leaf, but there's so many like there's so much tasty stuff out there, and
Uh,
also visually, like so many edible flowers you can put on top, and like
yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Because there's a lady I interviewed on you'd really like her. You should connect with her, Georgie, on Little Plough Kitchen, and she does all stuff like she'll make like a probiotic from natural stuff,
Oh wow, that's
and she the other
incredible.
day
That.
she dried out some like rose petals and stuff, and she
Wow,
put that in the food.
yeah,
She's like she reminds me of the new Nigella Lawson.
yeah, nice one, yeah,
Do you know what I mean? But she's not
yeah,
sort of evocatively licking her fingers with chocolate on all the time like Nigella does. But Georgie's great. I've seriously there is so many there is a change taking place. I am sure of it. People
yeah,
are going. Yeah, I have this all the time. I get patients coming in and I look at what they eat and I understand it. when you got nurses on food banks
Yeah,
and you've got someone paying $1 million to go onto the White House lawn to celebrate Trump's 80th
yeah,
disparity. I get it, right? But I do think that you can have little and just educate how to combine,
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
you know?
I think it is encouraging. Like I said before, people are asking questions. I think people are not only looking at this stuff; they're asking the people. I get messages all the time like, "How do you do this?" and "How do I do this?" and "How do I like?" That's encouraging. Yeah, it really is. Gives me hope. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
yeah.
I think there's I mean that there is 100% a book in you. I
I
really
really, I really, I really want
yeah,
to. I've thought about. I thought my book was going to be more of a life story thing when I got through my various problems and stuff. I
yeah,
thought, but then since getting into this, I think I'd rather do. It'd be much more. It'd be better for me, and I just think there'd be better content in it. Like sort of like a herbal book or like a no nonsense,
yeah.
herbal remedy or cookbook, something like that. But
But
definitely,
but but your life, the thing with you, and I've had this myself and everybody else I've talked to, is your life story is where you're at.
yeah.
If we take your life story and remove it, we could say maybe you wouldn't be here sitting me with having this
No,
conversation.
I spent a lot of time being very angry or upset or regretful at a lot of stuff
Mm,
I've done or the problems I've encountered that. But I wouldn't be here if I didn't have if one bit of that was missing. I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be having
yeah,
this conversation. I maybe wouldn't be learning what I've learned and I wouldn't be as grateful as I am and be thanking God every day for stuff and
yeah.
it's yeah. I mean, I
But
don't. I think the way I look at it, I used to have a lot of regret. I don't regret. I don't have regrets. I've made mistakes, but not regrets because the regrets are
yeah,
what brought a lot of them have what brought me here.
I think it's just energy. My wife and I have this conversation all the time. We talk about we had pretty tough upbringings, both of us,
Yeah.
in various ways and traumas. But we also are who we are. It's interesting, we're both in healthcare, you know. It's we
Oh,
saw
really? Yeah.
because we saw
Cool.
the traumas in other people and we recognized them and we wanted to heal those traumas in people,
Interesting.
you
Yeah.
know, and I think one of my because you sounded very much like me, your passion, my passion to give knowledge to people is what makes me
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's my
I'm,
purpose.
you
I
know,
think it's my purpose, share my gifts and knowledge. That's one of my
100%.
affirmations I do every day is to share my gifts and knowledge.
There's a prayer, isn't
Um,
there? The prayer from St. Francis or something about, give me the I can't, I'll paraphrase, but basically, help me to see what is good, help me to see what is bad, and help me to know the difference.
yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Mine's basically sort of yeah, grateful, just great gratitude. Yeah, it's part of my gratitude prayer. I
I
kind
think
of
so.
made it up, but yeah, but gratitude's a big part of me because I've a lot to be grateful for now. It's like,
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, I think so. I have a little prayer. My prayer time is in the car on the way to Tunbridge Wells in the morning to work, and I'll be have a talk to the man above. Now, I don't
Yeah.
care what you want to call him. You can call him whatever,
Yeah.
but the spirit, the universe, whatever. But I have
Yeah.
that real, and I always give thanks. I give thanks for my children. I give thanks for my
Yes.
wife. I give thanks for my job. I give thanks for my patients because they become my teacher at one point and I become
Yeah.
their teacher.
Yeah.
I give thanks for the food. Just,
Yeah.
you know,
I've started blessing my food
yeah,
and my drinks. So everything I eat now and drink, I
yeah.
bless it. So
Yeah,
I
well, I mean,
bless it.
if you
So
look at Emoto's work, that's exactly what he's
yeah, I need
saying.
to. I need to. I definitely. That's the first thing I'm going to
Yeah,
do.
have a
Is
look at
check
it.
out.
So, I mean, what he did was he took an electron microscope after saying, say, Jesus, Buddha, love, harmony, and you saw these beautiful crystalline shapes within
Wow.
the water. And
I
then when
need
he
to.
said all the horrible stuff, they were all shriveled and dark. And so if we go on the premise that we're 70, 75% water, if somebody says
Yeah.
something negative to you,
Yeah.
what does that do to the molecular structure of this water in your
Yeah, I need to
body?
check him out. I've not heard. I've sort of vaguely heard, and also they reckon some people say about water having a memory.
Yes.
Well, in it. Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
I'm not
Yep.
going to that, but that's a fascinating thing about like
Yeah.
bodies of water, whether it's the sea or
Yeah.
rivers or that fascinates me.
And also,
When I do my wild swimming in the sea,
yeah.
that's where for me that's where the magic happens with grounding because it's this. I do lakes and I do like grounding on the ground, this that and the other,
Yeah.
but the sea. There's something about the sea for me. It's like that's magic for me.
I think also the sea is something which you always have to respect. If you
Yeah.
don't, you've had it.
Yes. Yes.
And also the sea humbles you, like a mountain humbles you,
Yes.
because you feel so insignificant and
Yeah.
small. I did a I did a sauna and then a cold plunge. I did 5 minutes, but
Yeah.
my head was literally going around like, and I thought, okay, get out,
Yeah.
get park your ego, So, but it was but I think all of that's we now know, like men who sauna 2 to 3 times a week live 10 years longer.
Yeah.
Not the same for women because of hormonal
Yeah.
things and whatever. But I think if you take your book, you can self-publish on Amazon. It's cheap as
Yeah.
really, it costs
It's
you
gonna happen.
nothing.
Yeah. It's gonna.
And I'm a bit dyslexic, so I always had that thing. Oh, my spelling. It's not a big deal. Just whack it
Yeah.
into AI and go correct the spelling.
Yeah. It's.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it. I mean, I think week by week is. I think yeah. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
I think you're onto. I really seriously think you're onto a
Yeah.
winner there.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
It's really good.
Yeah, and
So,
I'm enjoying it. The main thing for me is I absolutely love it, and it's like I really do feel it's my purpose. And yeah, for me, having something as
yeah.
enjoyable as this that I love doing it's a no-brainer not to follow it with stuff. So
I think so. I've said to my kids, live your. I never get up. 31 years I've been in healthcare, and I've never got up and gone, I hate going to work.
oh,
Because
incredible.
if you follow your passion,
Yeah,
I've done the jobs. I've cleaned toilets. I've sprayed enameled
yeah,
baths. I've worked in care homes. I've cleaned up
yeah,
poo and everything else like that. But I
yeah.
think that if you follow your passion, you're in line with the universe. You're in line with the energy.
Yeah, exactly. It meets you
You know,
halfway, doesn't it?
it does.
And also I always used to be scared of doing it, scared of starting something new, a bit fearful of doing that. But I think
Yeah.
if you don't just stand there and wait to come to you, if you move towards it a little bit, it
Yeah.
kind of meets you halfway,
Yeah.
and you get a little bit of a well, upgrade or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
a bit of a push along the right path. I like to put it.
I think what you mustn't do is mustn't go, I have to, I have to, I have to, because that in itself creates a block. I think you just have to
I know.
go, this is what I'd like. I open to receive it in whatever
Yeah,
way.
that's it. I understand that now fully. I didn't used to. I used to think that was a lot of mumbo jumbo as well. Just
uh,
like I didn't used to believe in karma, which I do now.
yeah.
I do think by meeting it halfway or lining yourself up properly, you do get like an upgrade or a whoosh along sort of thing.
I think so. And it's energy. It's just energy. I know that I do something, an internal martial art called Qigong. And
Oh
with
wow.
so John Chang from the Magnus of Java, if you go to YouTube, put in the Magnus of Java,
Yeah.
and John Chang, for example, he could touch you and he give you such an electric shock you'd jump across the room, or he could set fire
Wow.
to paper. This is a real thing, and it's interesting. I went on to Chat GPT the other day and said about this, and he said, "Oh, it's not been proven, it's not scientific, blah blah blah." And I thought, wow, isn't that really interesting? How even that cognitive dissonance has gone into Chat GPT, where it can't
I've
deal with it.
I've put I just thought I mean I use it now and again to check, but I've always thought, can it identify plants properly? I photographed a common hogweed
Mm,
and it came out with giant hogweed. Now the difference there is one's edible, or many
yeah,
parts of it is, and
yeah,
one's toxic. One will like
yeah,
give you third-degree burns all over you or whatever. So it
yeah,
just shows you if people are going out there and saying, well, if it's this poisonous, snap or chat GBD say it's okay. That's why I try and get through to people. Look, feel it, smell it, break it,
yeah,
rub it on your skin, whatever. Get in there,
yeah.
it's like, yeah,
Even giant hogweed, because up in Lincolnshire, I was visiting my family, and there was one on the corner, and you have to report it to, I don't know, is it DEFRA or something? But you're meant to report it because
yeah,
it breaks down the cells in the body and makes you sunlight.
yeah.
Sunlight
For
can
years, I mean, I think it's stories of people have been affected for the rest of their lives with it and stuff.
100%. I've heard that as well.
And also, the only thing I say to people is again, it's one of the ones is don't be afraid of it. Like respect it.
Yeah,
I'd actually rather take children and kids to a giant hogweed plant and get them to look at it and
agree.
I'll explain it rather than just having a news flash saying this plant is poisonous, don't ever
Yeah,
go near it because they'll never see it and they never
yeah,
is explain it and explain how it's growing and because I think with plants is it's all right books and even videos sometimes but you've got to get out and you've
yeah,
got to smell it and be there and feel the frequency of it and the vibes and what have you and stuff. It's a whole, you've got to, I think you've got to experience these things rather than just saying this is this.
yeah. I agree because we can all intellectualize, but we do. It's when people talk about being in a survival situation, like you see it in these programs on TV where they dump them on the island, and there's always some guy with big muscles, the alpha male, and is very
Yeah,
loud
yeah,
and takes control. And very soon, people really get peed off with him. He
yeah,
gets them lost, he gets them hurt, and the
yeah.
quiet guy who's just realized, like
Uh,
Ramirez always used to say, in a survival situation, fire is what you do first, not shelter, because fire
yeah,
can protect, keep you warm, get
yeah,
and you
exactly.
look around. I watched these programs. I watched I watched one, and they were trying to make fire, and I thought, you're wearing glasses. You're wearing magnifying glasses, literally. Take them off. I was getting really
Yeah,
screaming at the TV, and my wife was like,
yeah,
now,
yeah,
but you can't all be
yeah.
there. So listen, we come to that part of the show where I ask your favorite quote and why.
Okay, I mean, there's my favorite, one of my favorite quotes has got to be, um, pardon my French, "Don't let shit dim your shine." I think everybody, me personally, thinking that everybody's got that shine. Whether you call it the Christ within
Yeah,
or whatever, we've all got this shine. And I think the problem with over the last few years or whatever is we've been layered up with expectations or poor food or media fear. Everything's been laid up on top of our shine. And I think if you can strip away layers and keep shine, that's great. But what I'm saying is don't let the shit that's happening in the world like literally dim your shine. I think we've all, as human beings, we've all got that inside us.
yeah, I
We're a lot
agree.
more powerful than we think. And if we let shit dim our shine,
Yeah,
it's not going to be good. It's not going to make your life enjoyable, and you're not going to discover your true sort of like power or your true worth or potential or whatever.
I
I
think
think
so.
that's
And
my favorite one. It's not very um philosophical, I don't guess, but that's one that I always think like, yeah, just don't, because
I,
there's so much stuff flying about that can dim your shine, and various people want to dim your shine, but yeah, don't let it.
I
Life's
think
too
so.
short.
I had a conversation exactly on this line with somebody recently, the difference between public school and private school, basically, which is that they come out of there with a belief system that you can
Yeah,
do it.
yeah,
And in state school, the Grange Hill of the days where I went,
yeah.
we weren't told that.
No, no, I
It wasn't
wasn't.
until I had a school reunion that somebody my one of I've written my first book, and the teacher had said to me, "You were really bright," and I said, "No one told me that at school. Like no one."
Yeah,
You
there
know
you
what I
go.
mean? I
Yeah,
I
I do.
I
Yeah.
remember getting called up to the headmaster's office because I'd taken a transformer out of a radio and made a scorpion little model and put it through, and I'd turn it on and give people a shock with it. And I got called up to the head. At the time we had it was a cane in those days,
Oh yeah, I
and
remember them days,
do you
mate.
remember
Yeah,
that? But
yeah, I do.
he was trying to keep a straight face because you could see he was going, actually, that's quite clever. But you know what I mean? And then I
Fantastic.
just stupid things. I made some homework fireworks and took them into school and all that, and I
Yeah,
got
I was the one of it. I was always like, who can we get to do something really stupid? Let's call up Phil. He'll do it. Like jump
yeah,
out the window for, oh, okay, they're just for laughs. Like, they'd be like, oh, my school reports were could do better, easily led. And that was
yeah.
it. Literally, like,
Yeah. But look at you. Like I look at people I was at school with that were so-called the bright kids and whatever. One guy died of alcoholism.
Wow.
Another one committed suicide. Somebody else got cancer. Another guy that was like, there was always the guy at school that was really, the girls really loved him. He was the naughty
Yeah.
boy and whatever. He's now married to a woman that beats him up.
Wow.
It's really
Yeah.
funny. And yet with us that we weren't meant to do well. We've done
Yeah.
well. If you'd
Yeah.
said to me I would have gone on to university and gone into healthcare, I would have laughed at you. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
and
I was always, especially in my sort of 20s and 30s, I was always driven by money. It was always money and more and
yeah,
bigger car and bigger this. And since 2020, my perspectives have changed, and I've never
100%.
been happier, and I've never been healthier, touch wood as well. Like,
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
you
Because well,
know,
the commodity, I have more of my life behind me and less in front of me, and so what I've realized is your commodity is time.
yeah, exactly, mate.
No one on their deathbed ever calls for the bank manager. They go, "I wish I had more time with my kids." And so,
100%,
well,
100%, mate. Yeah,
that's where my life's at.
yeah, we're
So
grateful. I'm grateful for that every day. The time I've got and the
yeah.
time I've got doing stuff now is precious to me now. It's like.
I think so. I think so. I had to survive cancer to get that.
Oh wow,
That's how stubborn I am, you know.
crikey, fair play, fair play
But
to
I
you,
was
mate.
really stubborn, and my wife's very much slow down. And the
Fair
irony
play.
is, what I did was I work less but smart, so I make the same money but work less. And I go, how does that work? That's because the energy's aligned.
Yeah, that's it.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, no, fair play to you, mate. Fair
it's
play
the
to you.
way to go. So how do people
Awesome.
get hold of you? Because you know, people want to collaborate with you, help with the
Yeah,
book,
I'm
or
on,
run a course.
yeah, I'm on Instagram. My Instagram is A Up Nature,
Yep.
and my TikTok is A Up Nature as well.
Okay.
I've started a YouTube channel. I've no content on there, but that's hopefully something in the future I can start doing podcasts like this and also put some content on YouTube. The A Up Nature is up on YouTube currently, but there's not much. Well, there's no content on there at all. But that's something I'm keen to get going once I get more,
Yeah.
find a bit more time in that. But yeah, A Up Nature, AYUP Nature,
Okay.
all one word.
Because
And
the other thing, because I was going to say what you can do really quickly for YouTube, take your TikTok and just put it up on YouTube, transfer it.
yes, all right, yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
there's your content and just you know
Take
because
the YouTube and put it on TikTok. Yeah.
yeah, like if you wherever you haven't got enough content,
All right, yeah.
so
Oh
like
yeah, of course, post it. Yes, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
I'm thinking,
literally
yeah,
download
yeah.
each post from say TikTok
Interesting.
whereas I came across you and just post that on YouTube.
So I
There's
reckon yeah, I need to up my game with the technical side of it. I didn't know you could
yeah,
do
you can
that
download.
directly.
Yeah, yeah, you can download if you've got a TikTok post you like, you
Fascinating,
can
right?
copy it, you can send it, even send it to yourself, share it, so you can
I
share it
want to
to
do
your
it. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
because
I
that's
mean,
it.
I'm still learning. You see that?
I
I'm
know.
still. See, this is why I won't throw everything at it currently. I'm gonna still learn and grow this organically and stuff. But yeah, I'd love people to. I mean, if anyone's got questions or
Yeah,
my DMs are always open as well. I get people asking stuff about plants all the time. I'm not one of these people to say like, oh no, you can't direct me message me about anything, mental health,
I'm the same.
anything I can help at all with. Yeah, I'll do
Yeah,
my best I can. So
yeah, I'm
yeah,
the same. Cool. All right, mate. Listen, great to see you. This is
yeah,
good. You're
great.
gonna hopefully you're gonna get some real good comeback from this because I mean
Yeah.
I thought I was watching TikTok and said this guy's got to be on my podcast. It
Oh,
was
bless
like
you. Well,
because it was you know it was really
sure.
yeah that kindred spirit you know.
That means a lot, mate. And I'm truly grateful for the connection. And yeah,
No,
fantastic. Love the stuff you're doing.
thank you, and I'll send you a message when this is out. But
Yeah,
it's good to see you, buddy.
yeah. You too, man. Take care. Thank you
Take
so much.
care.
God bless
Cheers.
you.
Bye
Thank you. Bye
bye.
bye. Bye bye.